Alright, what is good everyone? Today is a special day because I'm going to be sharing my first review and impressions of the MCON. This is a unique controller for smartphones. I know there have been many controllers on the market for a long time now, and I personally have been using them, different ones over the years for a while. I mean, I mainly used this for a long time, since like 2019, 2020, I think, around that time. And then I got this not too long ago, last year, and it's been pretty good. I actually really enjoy this because the AB2 Ultimate is one of my favorite controllers in general. I have the actual controller for my Nintendo Switch and PC, so I got this thinking it would be really nice, and it was nice. However, this is pretty big and bulky, so entering MCON, where this promises something different, it's a very special and unique design for me personally because of how small it is. Yes, in thickness, it's not like a crazy difference from a regular controller, but at the same time, it kind of is. But look at how big these controllers are compared to MCON. For me, this is one of the main appeals of this type of controller, and you guys are gonna see how special it is. It's such an amazing size because of how small it is. It's basically like carrying around another smartphone or even a power bank if you're somebody that carries around power banks. I know some people might be like, oh, like why would I want to carry around another smartphone type device in my pocket? But I mean, if you're somebody who plays mobile games on their smartphone with a controller like one of these, then this is way better to carry around. So anyways, the whole point of MCON is that it has the ability to do this. It has a button on the back, you press that and it snaps up. It's pretty aggressive, but it actually is not that bad. And this controller is so uniquely designed and pretty cool in many different ways. It's not like the craziest engineering or like the craziest tech in this. It's just like really good innovation and, problem solving, I feel like. So for example, right here you have this button, and if you press this button, this piece comes off. And this allows your phone to be propped up. It becomes like a kickstand. And it's a very simple mechanism, This plate is what keeps this thing on, and this is the key to this design, this controller. This is the Magsafe puck or slab, I guess, that connects your phone to the controller. But this can come off as well. So very modular design, very cool how everything comes apart. But like what I mean by like just unique problem solving is that it just snaps in like that, You press the button, it unlatches, put it in, it clicks in. Like a lot of the design is very simple, but it just works, and it's like put together in such a way that it just makes sense. And it's very unique. It feels like somebody like literally crafted many versions of this to come to these different solutions. So yeah, anyways, with that mechanic, you can use this as a kickstand as I showed, but then putting it back in the controller, these two areas are like landing zones for the base itself, and on the back of it has two magnets there, and they basically connect. If I just put it like this, it's already connected because of those magnets lining it up and everything, and how easy it is to latch it back. Boom, controller is put together again. So I press the button, it snaps up. So very simple mechanisms. And then as you saw, I unfolded these flaps right here. These could be a little bit easier to do, but at the same time, I understand a little bit why it's tough, so that you don't do it by accident. But again, this is just a manual thing that you just flip out, and it makes it a little bit more ergonomic when you're using heavier devices, which I'm going to show you. I've actually been playing with my Nintendo Switch a lot on the MCON. So yeah, anyways, I'm kind of nerding out about the controller a little bit, and I'm not even like a super technical person when it comes to all that kind of stuff. But I feel like the engineering is just so cool of this controller because it's so small, like I showed you, but it hides so much in it and has so many little unique features. But my favorite thing about the MCON is, like, obviously I'm gonna talk about the experience playing on it and how good it is to use as a controller. But my favorite thing about it, or things, are the modularity and how flexible this controller is compared to other ones. So the first thing I'll talk about is this puck. I already mentioned it, but as you can see, it comes off, it slides off, and you can slide it on in any direction basically that you want. So for example, this is good for different things. Like for example, my Nintendo Switch 2, it has a Magsafe ring on the back of it, and I put that on a long time ago, but I never really had a use case until the MCON came. I can now play Nintendo Switch 2 with the MCON. You might feel like it looks weird and clunky, but trust me, like this is actually pretty nice. I feel like I find myself enjoying playing on the MCON more than, the actual Nintendo Switch controllers when it's connected. I don't know why. Maybe it's slightly more ergonomic for me personally. But the puck being modular and switching the angle and stuff like that allows you to basically fit any device, really, Maybe some tablets and devices might be too long or whatever, but it's just really nice flexibility. So for example, with my Fold 7, my Z Fold 7 that I have here, Magsafe ring on it, if I put it right here, it's off to the side. It's going to be lopsided. It's not going to look good. But for me, I put the puck on this side, push it in a little bit. And then this part, I don't really have that on my phone, so it doesn't really matter. But the main idea is that I want the camera to be lined up with the empty side of the MCON so that it's kind of, you know, in the middle of the controller so that it doesn't look too awkward. So that when I open up the device, it looks like this, you know? Pretty symmetrical and just a good experience overall. So this is how I've been playing with the MCON on my phone, you know, the main thing, the main feature of it. And it's really nice. So I love the flexibility, the modularity of the Magsafe puck. It allows you to connect many different devices and even in many different orientations. Like if you have a certain kind of device and you want to play in landscape, then you can do that by switching the puck around, you know. You might want to play on your device in vertical orientation for different kinds of games that you're playing, like DS or Game Boy, things like that. So it's really cool for the flexibility. The other flexibility that I love about this controller, and one of the things that made me buy it in the first place, like that actually drew me to it, is the fact that this connects to so many different devices. It has, and it also can connect to any console. So Nintendo Switch, PS5, Xbox. It can also connect to PC, Mac, Android, and iPhone. So it literally connects to any device out there that you might play games on. But on top of connecting to all those consoles and being compatible with them and having the different modes and stuff like that, this thing also is able to connect to 3 Bluetooth devices at a time as well. So right now it's in Nintendo Switch mode and it's paired up with my Switch 2. So if I do stuff on the controller, you can see my Switch 2 is reacting or whatever. It's connected there. But if you go to the back, so here is the off switch. You can just switch that off, which I like if you want it to be completely off. But when you close the controller, it will go into sleep mode and be off basically. But this right here is how you connect to different devices. So normally you press and hold to enter into pair mode and you connect it to your phone. But what you can do is there's a bunch of short keys to switch the different modes, but mainly for Nintendo Switch, you press and hold that button and Y at the same time to switch to Nintendo Switch mode. But if I want to go back to regular Bluetooth mode, I just press that button, then I press X, and then you're going to see it's going to switch back. And boom, now it's in Bluetooth mode, and it quickly connected to my phone. This is what I really wanted this controller for. The flexibility to use it with many different devices, and just be able to use it however I want on the go, on the fly, whenever. So now it's already connected to my phone, and if I go to Bluetooth right here, you can see it says MCON 1. So the attention to detail is actually really nice because you also have the ability to connect to multiple devices. So for example, just to show you guys how quick and easy it is to switch between different devices. So for example, here, my Nothing Phone 2A is right there chilling. If I double tap this, bomb, it's gonna blink twice to let me know I'm on device number 2. So 1, 2, and then boom, and now it's connected to my Nothing Phone 2A. And as you can see, the buttons are doing stuff on that phone. It's that simple, that easy to switch between all the devices. And that's what I love about this controller and what drew me to it. And then I press it again, bomb, and it will go 1, 2, 3. And that lets me know it's profile 3. And if I go again, it will bring me back to profile 1, which is connected to my phone. If you look at the Nothing Phone 2A, it is in the second slot, so it says Ohsnap MCON 2. That is really nice. I just like the attention to detail and the ease of use. Like, it lets me know where the controller is connected to. But yeah, this is mainly how I've been playing. Like, this controller is just so tough. It really is encouraging me to actually game a little bit more. Recently, I've been feeling like as an adult, you know, all the responsibilities, different things, whatever, and just even life, you know, you feel like you don't want to game as much. There's a lot of barriers to play games. This makes me feel like I can just game at any moment, at any time. And it kind of makes me excited because of the controller itself. Love that I can use it with all my devices, my Switch, my PC, PlayStation, Android, iPhone, whatever. So now let's talk about the controller itself. As you can see, it is a very small controller. I know some people don't like small controllers. You might even think this looks like uncomfortable and stuff like that. For me, you know, I don't have the biggest hands. And for me, I like regular controllers, you know, like the Abidu Ultimate mobile controller is really nice and it feels like a normal controller. It feels pretty good. For me personally though, I don't mind small controllers, especially when the ergonomics are pretty decent. I feel like the ergonomics here are actually not bad at all. The only thing that might get in the way or make you feel a little bit weird is the weight balance. So I'm using a folding phone, the Z Fold 7, and of course it's a pretty hefty phone, and it's gonna feel a little bit top heavy. So at first, you know, using the controller without the flaps open, you might have to compensate a little bit. Even then, it doesn't feel that bad, to be honest. I could play this pretty comfortably. I do have to, you know, kind of balance it myself. And you might get tired of that after a while, but I feel like you get used to it. And it also depends on how you're playing. Normally with the MCON, which is another thing that I'm gonna talk about, which is another benefit for me personally, I like to hold my devices, you know, to my face so that I'm not breaking my neck. That's something that, like, as a society, we kind of just got used to breaking our neck to use our phone or laptop or tablet, whatever, look down. But with the MCON, because of the way that it is, I can actually hold it to my face like this. So a lot of the time I'll be playing on the MCON and I'll just have it, like, you know, face level, playing on the bed or whatever, wherever I am. And when it's like this, the ergonomics are actually really good because the weight balance is pretty chill. Oh shoot, I'm getting attacked. Okay. So, oh my gosh, a creeper, bro. Let me just get out of this cave real quick. So yeah, when you're holding it like this, face level, the weight balance actually doesn't feel that bad at all. The ergonomics are pretty good. I have no issue pressing all the buttons. Like, they're in the perfect place for your thumbs, for me personally. The analog sticks, at first it felt kind of weird because it's like a divot. It's inside the controller and you can kind of feel the plastic around it. But after a while I got used to the size. They are smaller analog sticks, so you kind of have to get used to the size. I have no problem using these analog sticks and using this controller. I feel like the button placement is actually pretty good. The only ones that are kind of questionable, if you're somebody who uses both of your fingers on the back buttons on regular controllers, then you might have problems doing that on the MCON. Because of the ergonomic, it's kind of hard to do that while balancing the phone. As you can see, look at how far out my hands are. I can kind of do it like this, but it's not the most comfortable experience, you know, pressing or being able to press both buttons very fast. So what I find myself doing is just jumping back and forth like this. I know a lot of people don't like to do that because it's not optimal for gaming. But I mean, I play games like that for years. Even Smash Bros, I still play like that. I hop back and forth like this. I don't use two fingers. Even when I was learning guitar in high school, they teach you to alternate with your fingers, but for me, I got really good with just, you know, using one finger to pluck multiple strings and move back and forth, and I held up just as well as other people. So if you're somebody who uses two fingers for the trigger and the bumper buttons, then it might be a little bit of an issue, but for me, it works out fine. So in terms of actually playing on the controller, no problem at all. I actually been enjoying myself. The ergonomics could be a little bit better, but at the same time, I feel like with how small this is, they kind of maximized it. So that is kind of a downside, the fact that it's so small and it doesn't have perfect ergonomics, but at the same time, it's a compromise I'm willing to make. If it was a bad experience, then I wouldn't be willing to make that compromise, but I feel like it's a good experience, good enough for me personally, where, you know, carrying this just makes sense. Like, look at this. I easily fold up my phone, I close the controller, and it's just ready to go in my pocket just like that. You know, this is like carrying a Magsafe power bank attached to your phone. Very, very simple, easy. And then if I want to start playing games, bomb. And I can even play games on the outside screen if I want to, like a normal phone on my Z Fold 7. And then I unfold it and boom, I can play some full screen games on the big screen. So that's really nice. So now let's talk about the Nintendo Switch. This is very unexpected for me. Honestly, when I got the MCON, I thought I would just use the controller itself for the Switch. I could even take this off and just, you know, use this as my pocket Nintendo Switch controller on the go for different things. I didn't expect to actually use the MCON with the Nintendo Switch attached to it, especially because I forgot I put this Magsafe ring on it. But fam, this is actually really tough. Like, really unexpected compatibility, and it just works. As you can see, I switched to Nintendo Switch mode and it automatically connected. It still is paired to my Switch in this mode. That is just so tough. I'm not sure. I feel like you can have probably more than 3 devices paired to it with these different modes, like a Nintendo Switch, Xbox, whatever, based on how it's working right now. But I'm not too sure. Like I said before, I've been playing Nintendo Switch 2 with this controller a lot. I know the buttons are not the same as the Nintendo buttons. The layout is different. For the Joy-Cons of the Switch 2, you know, they are good. They got bigger. For a lot of people, it feels better ergonomically, but for me personally, the Switch 2 Joy-Cons aren't the best or the most ergonomic experience. The way that they're so tall, my hand has to kind of slide up, and like the weight balance feels a little bit off using the Switch 2 Joy-Con. So playing in bed or just playing in different, even like in this orientation, it doesn't feel the most comfortable. Although it is still pretty good. As you can see, I got some use out of my Switch. I feel like the MCON, like the weight balance is definitely off. I am compensating, you know, with it feeling like lopsided. But at the same time, it kind of feels like more sturdy because of that you know, imbalance in the weight and me holding it like this. And if you take off the Joy-Cons, it's a little bit better actually. It doesn't feel as bad. But like I said, my main use case for playing the Nintendo Switch with the MCON is playing like this with it up at my face. And when I hold it like that, the weight balance is actually not bad at all. Like, it actually is in fact pretty good. And it, honestly, I think it's better than playing with the Joy-Cons up at my face because of how the Switch screen kind of extends out and the controller's not really in your way, and just the way that it kind of hangs. Like, it's actually really, really nice. So let me just give you a little POV of what I'm talking about with weight balance. All right, so when I talk about the weight balance, this is what I mean. I'll literally hold the system at face level so that I can play the game, and it's just a pretty good experience. Like, the ergonomics don't feel bad at all because of how, like I said, the Nintendo Switch sits on it, the way that the controller just works, especially with these grips at the bottom. So this is what I mean by weight balance. Like, I feel like it's just a good experience. You can't ever really see the Switch like this, but it's just really good, man. I actually enjoy it a lot compared to with the Joy-Cons. So yeah, bringing it back, this has basically been my experience with the MCON so far. You know, it hasn't been a long time. I think I got it in the past week. You know, I've been playing games, like I said, a little bit more often than usual in this busy life that we live, and it's a pretty good experience. Another downside to the MCON, I'm not sure if the battery is not that good. I mean, it is a small device, so, you know, I can't expect it to be too amazing, but it does feel like the battery kind of died a little bit more often than I wanted or hoped. I mean, I haven't really timed it. I haven't really, you know, actually taken note of how long I've been playing off the charge. So I'm not really sure if the battery life is good or not. I will keep that in mind and actually think about it and track it for the next video, for my future reviews of the MCON. A side note about charging, when you are charging the device, it does flash red when it's not fully charged. And then when it's fully charged, it will turn green to let you know you can take it off the charger. So that is also nice. So that is kind of like a minor con right now. The battery life doesn't seem like it's amazing, but it is good enough for me personally so far to get a couple hours of gaming in. Just to close the video, the downsides are that it's kind of a smaller controller. The battery life might not be amazing, and it could feel lopsided depending on the device you're using. But the upsides are that this is one of the most flexible and multi-device compatible controllers on the market. Like, on just all levels, I can play Smash Bros on this controller. You know, there's not many controllers I can play Smash Bros on, but with this controller, I can actually play Smash Bros pretty comfortably. That for me is personally a good benchmark for how good this controller is. It's good enough for me in any game I play, really. I play Fortnite with it, I play Smash Bros, I play Minecraft, I play whatever. One of the most flexible and multi-device compatible controllers. It's very ergonomic, and you can do things like this with the kickstand. So even the Nintendo Switch 2 is able to be held up with the kickstand. You can put it back on the device and use it like this. And the fact that it's a Bluetooth controller means that it's wireless, so you can play however you want. Fold it up and use it like this, whatever. You can have up to 3 Bluetooth devices connected. I have my Nintendo Switch connected. I'm not sure if that takes up a slot. It just works so well. The shortcuts to switch to different modes and all that stuff, it's all seamless. The on and off switch, the buttons to pop up the controller slider, everything is just very seamless about this controller. So I've been enjoying it a lot. If we're talking about aesthetics, MCON is definitely one of the better looking controllers out there, I think. It's just been good. It's been a really good experience so far. I know I've been yapping, but one of the things I've been doing too, this is another side note before I end the video. If I have it on my Z Fold 7 and I'm just casually chilling, doing stuff, I might even put on a video and just use the controller itself as a Magsafe stand. Like, it's just too tough, bro. It's just too tough. It even works in vertical orientation. It's too tough. But yeah, guys, that is the MCON first review from Jamal. Make sure you subscribe so you can see future videos. Until the next one, we are out. Peace.